Ambassador Lee Hanna walked slowly through the busy corridors of Kepler 7 station. Her black diplomatic uniform was clean and pressed. The small Earth flag on her shoulder caught the bright station lights. She had been traveling for 3 weeks to reach this neutral space station, far from both Earth and the dangerous Vorthak Empire territories. The station was huge, with metal walls and long hallways that seemed to go on forever. Aliens from dozens of different worlds moved through the corridors. Some had blue skin and 4 arms. Others looked like giant insects with shiny shells. A few resembled Earth lizards but walked on 2 legs and wore fancy robes. Hannah had seen many strange creatures during her 15 years as Earth's top diplomat. She was only 38 years old, but her calm voice and smart mind had solved problems that older diplomats could not fix. Today would be her biggest challenge yet. The Vorthak Empire had been attacking human colonies for 2 years. They were big, mean creatures with gray skin and sharp teeth. They believed that might made right. To them, humans looked weak and small. The Vorthaks had destroyed 3 human settlements and killed thousands of innocent people. But now, for the first time ever, the Vorthak leaders had agreed to peace talks. They would meet on this neutral station where no weapons were allowed. Both sides would try to find a way to end the fighting without more death. Hannah reached the main meeting hall and checked her watch. She was 30 minutes early, just as she always preferred. Being early showed respect and gave her time to think. The hall was enormous, with a high ceiling and tables arranged in a circle. Each table had flags showing which world or empire it represented. Captain Park Jimin walked up to her. He was the head of security for all human diplomats. His job was to keep them safe during dangerous missions like this one. He was also Hannah's younger brother, though they never talked about family during work. The Vorthak delegation arrived an hour ago. Jimin said quietly, "Their leader is General Thekvor. Intelligence says he has killed over 50 humans in battle. He does not like our people." Hannah nodded. She had read the files about Thekvor. He was 7 feet tall, covered in old battle scars, and famous for his cruelty. But she had dealt with difficult enemies before. Sometimes the meanest warriors were the most afraid inside. "Any word from Earth Command?" she asked her brother. "President Kim sends her best wishes. She says the whole planet is watching these talks. If we can make peace here, it might save millions of lives on both sides." More diplomats began entering the hall. The Centauri Republic sent 3 representatives with silver skin and large eyes. The Etherian Collective brought 2 peaceful creatures who looked like floating jellyfish. Even the mysterious Shadowkin Empire had sent an observer, though nobody had ever seen one of their kind before. At exactly 7 o'clock station time, the Vorthak delegation entered. General Thekvor was even bigger than Hannah had expected. His gray skin was marked with ritual scars, and his yellow eyes looked around the room like a predator hunting prey. For other Vorthak warriors followed him, each one carrying ceremonial weapons that were allowed because they were made of soft metal and could not really hurt anyone. The opening dinner was a tradition for peace talks. All sides would eat together and share stories about their worlds. It was supposed to build trust before the real negotiations began. Hannah had attended dozens of these dinners, and they usually went well. The food was prepared to be safe for all species. Humans got roasted vegetables and protein cubes. The Vorthaks ate raw meat that still dripped blood. The other aliens had foods that matched their biology. Everyone sat at their assigned tables and tried to be polite. General Thekvor spoke loudly about Vorthak victories in recent battles. He bragged about destroying human ships and conquering weak colonies. Hannah listened calmly and did not get angry, even when he said terrible things about her people. This was all part of the game. He was trying to make her lose control. "Humans are soft creatures," Thekvor said, pointing his eating knife at Hannah. "You hide behind words because you are too weak to fight like real warriors. Your colonies fell easily because you have no courage." "General," Hannah replied with a steady voice, "we are here to discuss the future, not the past. Both our peoples have suffered losses. Perhaps we can find a way to prevent more suffering." Thekvor laughed loudly. "You see? Even now she speaks of preventing suffering. Weakness. The strong take what they want. The weak ask for mercy. Suddenly, the lights went out. Emergency power kicked in a moment later, bathing the hall in dim red light. Hannah heard shouting from the corridors outside. Her brother Jimin was already moving toward her, his hand reaching for his weapon. But it was too late. Armed figures in black uniforms stormed to the service doors. They were Vort hacks, but not part of the official delegation. These were extremists who did not want peace talks to succeed. Their leader carried a recording device that was already broadcasting to the entire galaxy. Let this be a lesson. The extremist snarled as his warriors grabbed Hannah. Humans are prey species. They deserve no respect, no negotiation, no mercy. The weapon fired once. Ambassador Lee Hannah fell to the floor as her brother screamed her name. Captain Park Jimin knelt beside his sister's body as medics rushed into the dining hall. The red emergency lights made everything look like a nightmare. Other diplomats stood frozen in shock, unable to believe what they had just witnessed. The Vorhack extremists had vanished into the station's maze of service tunnels before security could stop them. The recording of Ambassador Lee Hannah's murder spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Every news channel, every communication network, every social media platform showed the same horrible scene. The extremist leader's words echoed through space. Humans are prey species. They deserve no respect. On Earth, President Kim Sora watched the broadcast in her private office. Her hands shook as she saw Hannah fall. The young ambassador had been like a daughter to her. Kim had personally chosen Hannah for this mission because she was the best negotiator Earth had ever produced. The president's advisors waited for orders. Defense Minister Choi Woo-sing stood ready to mobilize a fleet. Intelligence Director Lee Min-sik had prepared strike plans against Vorhack targets. Trade Secretary Nam Jae-hoon could authorize economic sanctions within the hour. But President Kim said nothing. She simply stared at the screen where Hannah's image was frozen in time. Hours passed. Then something strange began to happen. Earth went completely silent. The first sign came at the Terran embassy on Centauri Prime. Ambassador Kim Do-hyun was in the middle of a meeting with colonial leaders when his communication device buzzed. The message was short and coded. Extract immediately. Protocol 7. No questions. Do-hyun had never seen Protocol 7 before, but he knew what it meant. Within 2 hours, he and his entire staff had quietly left the embassy. They took nothing with them except essential personal items. The colonial leaders found the building empty the next morning, with no explanation or forwarding address. The same thing happened on 47 worlds across the galaxy. Human diplomats, trade officials, scientists, and cultural exchange workers simply disappeared overnight. They left their posts without saying goodbye to alien friends they had known for years. Embassy doors remained locked. Trade offices showed closed signs with no return date. On the mining world of Kepler, 442b, Vorhack Administrator Gortham tried to contact his human trade partners. The mining equipment they had ordered was supposed to arrive that week. But every human communication channel was dead. The company offices were empty. Even the human workers in the mines had vanished without collecting their final paychecks. The Etherian Collective Science Minister Telani felt worried. For 30 years, humans have been the galaxy's most talkative species. They love to share information, trade stories, and make new friends. Human scientists called Etherian researchers every day to discuss new discoveries. Human merchants sent cheerful messages about business deals. Human students asked thousands of questions about alien cultures. But now there was nothing. Complete silence. This is not normal behavior, Telani told her advisors. Humans always talk. Even when they are angry, they send angry messages, make formal complaints, argue about trade deals. They never just stopped talking entirely. Long-range sensors began detecting strange activity in the Sol system. Huge energy readings appeared near Earth, but they were different from normal human technology. Whatever was happening, it was big enough to show up on instruments from 50 light-years away. Scout ships from several species tried to investigate. The Centauri Republic sent 3 fast cruisers toward human space. The Altarian Federation dispatched their best intelligence vessel. Even the mysterious Shadowkin Empire sent observers to see what the humans were doing. None of the scout ships came back. General Thekvor, the official Vorthak delegation, returned to his home world in triumph. He believed the extremists had done the right thing by killing the human diplomat. In his mind, this proved that humans were weak and cowardly. "See how they run and hide," he told his warriors. "They cannot even respond to the death of their precious ambassador. We should have started killing humans years ago, instead of wasting time on peace talks." But older Vorthak generals were not so sure. Commander Crotham had fought humans in border skirmishes for 10 years. He knew they were not cowards. Human soldiers fought fiercely to protect their colonies. Human ships never surrendered, even when outnumbered. "Something is wrong," Crotham told his staff officers. "In all my battles against humans, they never stayed quiet for long. They always sent messages before attacking. They always tried to talk first, even during combat. This silence, it feels dangerous." The galaxy's intelligence agencies worked day and night trying to understand what was happening in human space. But their spy networks had gone as quiet as official channels. Human agents who had worked for alien governments for decades had simply vanished. Secret communication codes that had been used for years suddenly stopped working. 3 days passed, then 4. The silence stretched on, and with each passing hour, more species began to feel afraid. The humans who brought cookies to first contact meetings and sent birthday cards to alien diplomats had completely disappeared. President Yun Sura of the Centauri colony sent urgent messages to allied worlds. "We need to prepare for the possibility that we never really understood our human neighbors. What kind of species goes completely silent after such provocation? What are they planning in that deadly quiet?" The question spread from world to world, carried by nervous whispers in 100 alien languages. What were the humans doing in their terrible silence? Admiral Choi Woozing stood in the command center of the TNS Retribution, the largest warship Earth had ever built. The massive ship floated in space beyond Pluto, hidden in the cold darkness of the outer solar system. Around it, hundreds of other human vessels waited in perfect formation. These were not the small patrol ships that other species had seen defending human colonies. These were true warships, built in secret shipyards that the galaxy did not know existed. Each one carried weapons that made Vorthak battleships look like children's toys. Report, Admiral Choi said to his officers. Commander Han, Jisoo stepped forward with a data tablet. She was the head of human intelligence, and she had been preparing for this moment for 20 years. "All assets are in position, sir. The architect protocol is ready to execute." The admiral nodded slowly. His weathered face showed no emotion, but his eyes burned with cold anger. "Show me the targets." A huge holographic display activated in the center of the command room. It showed a three-dimensional map of Vorthak space, with 47 star systems marked in red. Each red represented a Vorthak military base, shipyard, communication station, or resource mining operation. Every major Vorthak military installation, Commander Han explained. 218 primary targets. Each one has been watched and studied for 15 years. We know their defenses, their patrol schedules, their weak points. Intelligence Chief Lee Minseek joined the briefing. He was a thin man with gray hair, but his mind was sharp as a knife. Our merchant ships have been operating in Vorthak space for decades. They thought we were just peaceful traders. In reality, they were spy ships with the most advanced sensors Earth could build. The hologram zoomed in on a Vorthak military base. It showed detailed blueprints of the base's power systems, weapon emplacements, and shield generators. Every piece of information had been gathered by human agents over many years. The Vorthaks believe humans are weak because we prefer talking to fighting. Admiral Choi said to his assembled officers, "They made one critical mistake. They thought our diplomacy came from weakness. It came from strength. We chose not to fight because we knew how terrible we could be." Captain Song Hyunwoo, commander of the stealth destroyer Shadowblade, raised his hand. "Sir, what about civilian populations? The Vorthak worlds have billions of innocent people." "We are not monsters," Admiral Choi replied firmly. "We will not harm civilians. Our targets are purely military and industrial. We will destroy their ability to build ships, make weapons, and communicate across space. But we will not hurt their families or destroy their homes. The Admiral walked to another display that showed Earth's hidden fleet. Ships that officially did not exist filled the screen. Stealth frigates that could appear and disappear like ghosts. Destroyers equipped with quantum tunnel drives that could travel instantly across vast distances. Dreadnoughts carrying planet-killing weapons that had never been tested in battle. For 20 years, while we pursued peace through diplomacy, we also prepared for war. Admiral Choi continued. We hoped we would never need these ships. We built them as insurance, as a final option if diplomacy failed completely. Lieutenant Nam Yunbai, the fleet's weapons specialist, provided more details. Our stealth technology is 50 years ahead of anything the Vortex have. They will not see us coming until it is too late. Our weapons can destroy their largest battleships in seconds. Commander Han pulled up personnel files on the display. We also have human agents who have been living in Vortex space for 15 years. They work as engineers, technicians, and maintenance workers on Vortex bases. The enemy thinks they are prisoners of war who have given up hope of rescue. In reality, there are eyes and ears. These agents have identified every critical weakness in Vortex infrastructure, Lee Minsick added. Power distribution networks, orbital defense platforms, communication nodes, manufacturing centers. When we strike, we will hit them all simultaneously. Admiral Choi's expression remained cold as stone. The other officers could see the pain in his eyes, even though he tried to hide it. Ambassador Lee Hanna had not just been Earth's finest diplomat. She had been his daughter. The Vortex wanted to send a message by murdering Ambassador Lee, he said quietly. They wanted to show the galaxy that humans are weak prey animals. They broadcast her death to make us look helpless. The command center fell silent. Every officer knew that Hannah had been the Admiral's child, though military protocol prevented them from talking about personal matters during duty hours. They are about to learn that our restraint was an act of mercy, not weakness, Admiral Choi continued, his voice growing harder. For decades, we have been the galaxy's peacemakers. We mediated disputes, prevented wars, and protected smaller species from bullies. We did this because we remembered what we were capable of before we chose the path of peace. He activated a final display showing human military history. Images of ancient Earth wars filled the screen. Humans had been fighting each other for thousands of years before they reached the stars. They had learned to build terrible weapons and use them with deadly efficiency. We became diplomats because we learned the true cost of war, Admiral Choi said. But when someone murders our family, they remind us why we were once the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. The Admiral looked around at his officers. Synchronized strike begins in 18 hours. Every major Vortex military asset will be eliminated simultaneously. We are not conquering their empire. We are sending them back to the Stone Age. Captain Song Hyunwoo gripped the command chair of the stealth destroyer TNS Shadowblade as his ship emerged from quantum tunnel space. One moment they were traveling through the strange blue energy of hyperspace. The next moment they appeared directly above the Vortex fortress world of Tarkith Prime. The planet below was covered in military bases and weapon factories. Massive orbital defense platforms hung in space like metal moons, each one bigger than Human City. These platforms had enough firepower to destroy an entire fleet of normal warships. Targets acquired, reported Lieutenant Nam Yunbai from the weapons station. 6 orbital defense platforms. Distance, 12,000 kilometers. They have not detected us yet. Captain Song checked his watch. According to the plan, human ships were appearing above Vortex targets across 47 star systems at this exact moment. The attack had to be perfectly timed, or the enemy would have time to send warnings to other bases. Quantum Lance batteries charged and ready, Nam Yunbai said calmly, "Fire." 6 beams of concentrated energy lanced out from the Shadowblade. Each beam was thinner than a human finger, but they carried enough power to cut through a mountain. The Vortex defense platforms exploded in brilliant flashes of light, their shields and armor useless against human quantum technology. Similar attacks were happening all across Vortex space. Captain Park Jimin commanded the assault frigate TNS Vengeance as it destroyed weapon factories on the industrial world of Kreshtar. Commander Kwon Jae-hyun led a squadron of stealth bombers against the Vorthak Naval Academy on Drakmor. At the academy, Instructor Keshval was teaching young Vorthak cadets about military strategy when the windows exploded inward. 3 human frigates hung motionless in the atmosphere outside, their weapons systematically destroying every training spacecraft on the Academy grounds. "Impossible," Keshval whispered as he watched human ships move with perfect precision. "Our sensors show nothing. How can they be invisible to our detection systems?" The human ships finished their work in minutes. Every training vessel was reduced to scrap metal. The Academy's communication tower collapsed in a shower of sparks, but not a single cadet was harmed. The humans had destroyed the Academy's ability to train new pilots without killing any students. Admiral Gorthake commanded the Vorthak Empire's most powerful battle fleet from his flagship Bloodfang. He had received warning messages from across the Empire as human attacks began, giving him 18 precious minutes to prepare for battle. His fleet included 50 warships, including the mighty dreadnought that had never been defeated in combat. "All ships, battle formation," Gorthake ordered. "Raise shields to maximum power. Charge all weapons. These humans think they can surprise us, but we are ready for them." The Vorthak fleet arranged itself in a defensive wall, with the biggest ships in front and smaller vessels behind. Their weapons were aimed at empty space, waiting for the human attackers to appear. Then the human dreadnought TNS Retribution translated into normal space directly in front of them. The ship was enormous, twice the size of Gorthake's flagship. Its hull was black as deep space, covered with weapon emplacements that glowed with deadly energy. The sight of it filled the Vorthak crew with fear. "Open fire! All weapons!" Gorthake screamed. Dozens of Vorthak ships fired their biggest guns at the human dreadnought. Laser beams, particle cannons, and fusion missiles struck the human ship's shields in a display of firepower that could have destroyed a small planet. The human ship did not even slow down. "Impossible!" Gorthake whispered as his flagship's sensors showed that the human shields had barely been scratched. Nothing could withstand that much firepower. The TNS Retribution fired a single weapon in response. A beam of pure white energy reached out and touched Gorthake's flagship. The mighty Bloodfang simply vanished, turned into atoms in less than a second. The rest of the Vorthak fleet tried to retreat, but it was too late. The human dreadnought's weapons reached out like fingers of death, destroying ship after ship with casual ease. In 14 minutes, the Empire's most powerful fleet was reduced to floating debris and emergency escape pods. Commander Han just coordinated the infrastructure attacks from her command ship. Reports came in from human forces across the galaxy as they systematically dismantled the Vorthak Empire's industrial base. Mining Station Vec 7 neutralized, reported Captain Lee Do-hyun. All mining equipment destroyed. Workers evacuated safely to the planet's surface. Orbital Manufacturing Complex Beta eliminated, added Commander Kim Sora. Production facilities destroyed. Civilian workers transported to safety shuttles. Communication Hub Nexus Prime destroyed, said Captain Yoon Miho. All long-range communication arrays offline. The Vorthaks can no longer coordinate between star systems. The pattern was the same everywhere. Human forces appear without warning, destroy their targets with overwhelming firepower, and vanish before reinforcements could arrive. They targeted only military and industrial sites, carefully avoiding any civilian casualties. General Crotham, the old Vorthak warrior who had warned his people about human silence, now cowered in his underground bunker as human soldiers surrounded his fortress. His communication equipment was dead. His weapons were useless against human technology. His once mighty empire was crumbling around him. The final transmission he received came from a human officer standing outside his bunker. "General Crotham, you wanted to see human strength. This is us being merciful. Your empire's military power is broken, but your people are alive. Remember this lesson." In 18 hours, the Vorthak Empire's ability to threaten anyone beyond their own atmosphere had been completely eliminated. 3 weeks after the storm ended, Ambassador Ojaiwin stepped off her transport ship at Kepler 7 station. The same station where Ambassador Lee Hanna had been murdered now buzzed with nervous energy as representatives from across the galaxy gathered for an emergency session of the Galactic Council. Ojaiwin wore the same black diplomatic uniform that Hanna had worn. The small Earth flag on her shoulder caught the station lights exactly as it had before. But everything else had changed. When she walked through the corridors, other diplomats stepped aside and watched her with a mixture of fear and respect. The main council chamber was packed with representatives from hundreds of worlds. The circular seating arrangement put Earth's delegation at the center, where everyone could see them clearly. Ojaiwin sat calmly with her hands folded, looking exactly like any other peaceful diplomat. But everyone in the room knew what her species had done to the mighty Vorthak Empire. Council Speaker Telani of the Etherian Collective called the session to order. Her jellyfish-like form glowed with nervous blue light as she addressed the assembly. We gathered today to discuss recent events that have shaken our understanding of galactic politics. Telani began. Ambassador O, your species has just dismantled an entire interstellar empire in less than 1 day. The Vorthak military no longer exists. Their industrial capacity has been reduced to pre-spaceflight levels. Surely this represents a fundamental change in human policy. Ojaiwin stood slowly and faced the assembly. Her voice was calm and pleasant, exactly like every human diplomat before her. Not at all, honored speaker. Earth's commitment to peaceful diplomacy remains unchanged. We prefer to solve problems through discussion and negotiation. Confused murmurs rippled through the chamber. Representative Korthum of the Altarian Federation stood up, his forearms gesturing in agitation. Ambassador, with respect, you just destroyed the second-largest military power in the galaxy. Your ships appeared from nowhere using technology we did not know existed. How can you claim nothing has changed? Ojaiwin smiled with genuine warmth. Because you misunderstood what happened, Representative Korthum. We did not start a war. We ended one. The Vorthak extremists who murdered Ambassador Lee Hanna declared war on humanity when they broadcast her execution across the galaxy. She activated a holographic display that showed the current state of former Vorthak space. The 47 star systems were still inhabited by billions of Vorthak civilians, but their military bases were gone. Their spacecraft were destroyed. Their communication networks were offline. The Vorthak people are alive and unharmed. Ojaiwin continued. Their worlds remain habitable. Their families are safe. They simply can no longer threaten anyone beyond their own planets. This is what human justice looks like. An elderly delegate from the Centauri Republic raised a silver hand. Ambassador, how long have you been hiding such advanced military technology? Our intelligence services had no idea humans possessed such capabilities. We were not hiding anything, Ojaiwin replied. We simply chose not to use our military strength unless absolutely necessary. Earth learned long ago that the most dangerous weapon is the one you never have to fire. We hoped we would never need to demonstrate our true capabilities. She gestured to another human at her table. This is Captain Park Jimin, former head of diplomatic security. He is also Ambassador Lee Hanna's younger brother. A shocked silence fell over the chamber. Captain Park stood and bowed respectfully to the assembly. His face showed the same calm professionalism as his sisters had. You see, honored delegates, you fundamentally misunderstood human nature. Ojaiwin continued. We did not choose diplomacy because we were weak. We chose diplomacy because we learned the true cost of war. Every human who serves in our diplomatic corps is a former soldier who decided that words were more powerful than weapons. The revelation sent waves of whispered conversations through the chamber. Species that had known humans for decades suddenly realized they had never truly understood their neighbors. Representative Zekmar of the Draconian Alliance asked the question that everyone was thinking. What happens now? How do we coexist with a species capable of such decisive action? Are we all at your mercy? Ojaiwin's expression remained kind but serious. Exactly as before. We will continue serving as mediators, negotiators, and peacekeepers. We will help resolve disputes between species. We will protect smaller worlds from bullies. Our commitment to galactic peace has not changed." She paused and looked around the chamber, making eye contact with delegates from dozens of different species. "But the galaxy should understand one crucial fact," she continued, her voice carrying quiet authority. "When you murder our family, and make no mistake, every human serving in space is family to us, you remind us why we became the most dangerous species in the galaxy before we chose to become its most peaceful." The session concluded with the establishment of new galactic protocols. Trade agreements were renewed. Diplomatic relations continued as before. But throughout the chamber, a new understanding had taken root. President Yun Sur of the Centauri colony spoke for many when she transmitted a private message to her home government. The humans still bring cookies to first contact meetings. They still send birthday cards to alien diplomats. They still prefer talking to fighting. But now we know that their kindness comes from strength, not weakness. Within days, a new motto spread throughout the galaxy. It was whispered in cantinas on frontier worlds, discussed in the halls of government, and taught to young aliens learning about galactic politics. The humans preferred to talk. Everyone should pray they never had to stop. The age of human diplomacy had not ended. It had simply revealed its true foundation of unshakable strength.